Hey everyone, in this video, we are going to look more at, I'm going to provide some more discussion about the assignment this week and what I'm looking for, how to complete it. So let's check this out. So group A, you are back up again, and you will be completing both the initial post and the response post. All other students, just response posts this week. And so reviewing the rites of passage transcript in the Moodle book will be helpful for completing this assignment. So go back to the Moodle book and go to the course content for the week. And one of the very last things on there is a link to transcripts from an old webinar. The webinar video is no longer available, but the transcript, to read the transcript, is available. And it's by the same person who put on these two videos below. So I think it just provides some additional context to what we're talking about in these videos, as well as what the assignment is asking you for. So I would review that. There's a transcript and some slides from that webinar. So you want to watch these two videos. One is Rites of Passage 101. So what is a rite of passage? What are we even talking about? Why are they important? Check out that video. And then this provides the second video, Rite of Passage to Alcoholic. Again, that is this person's language. That's they're using identity first language in the video that they produced. So in this video, they answer the question, how did I become an alcoholic / addict? And again, I just really want to emphasize that this is language, this is identity first language that is coming from this author. So I guess that is why that is appropriate in this instance. And anyway, I just want to make that clear. I think that we understand that piece about that difference between, like, when do I use person first language and when do I use identity first language. But if you still have questions about that, I'd love to hear them. When we have our, when we do our week later in the semester on disability, we will talk again about identity first language and engage in that a little bit more as well. So watch those two videos, and then what you're going to do is actually think about rites of passage that you've encountered in your life. So everybody in group A, you are going to share an example and identify the stripping of your old identity. So in this example, as you're writing out this example, I want you to use this terminology. I want you to say, my example, blah, 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 blah. This is what happened. And the stripping of my own identity happened when. Then liminality. So liminality is training for who and what you will become. So I want to see you use that term in there and use it appropriately. I want you to talk about your new status. So the new you, what your training has made you into. Then you'll share the challenges and successes you encountered as you went through this rite of passage, or are currently encountering if your example is current. So some people, you know, becoming a college student, that's a pretty big rite of passage. So you might still be encountering this. So talk about this. If you're currently going through that, what are some of the challenges and successes that you're currently seeing? Then lastly, by considering your own rite of passage and what you learned from this webinar, what can you incorporate into your future professional practice to demonstrate understanding of addictions and diversity? So take this information and apply it to, as a professional, whatever my profession is going to be at this point. How am I going to take this information and use it in my practice? So hopefully this heart chart is helpful to give you more detail about what you should include when discussing your rite of passage. So a little more about stripping of the old identity, what you're unlearning aspects of who you are. So you're separating from your comfort zone and what's familiar with your previous identity. And then your liminality, which is training for who or what you will become. So you might discuss tools, sustenance, discipline, problem solving, all of the repetition that's happening. And maybe it's a 2-step forward, 1-step back sort of thing. Liminality is uncomfortable. It's messy because it's change. That's where that internal conflict is happening. That's where the difficulty is in a rite of passage. And lastly, the new status. So that's the new you and what your training has made you into. So you become what you're trained to be, not what you fantasize about becoming, right? So what you actually trained. So you, not just what I thought was going to happen, but where I put my effort. Typically there's some type of ceremony signifying the change, a graduation of some type, maybe even receiving a fancy paper degree in the mail. So, you know, something, I recently had a new baby and now I'm a mother of 2. And you know what? My ceremony was, I brought home a baby, right? Like that is this really big, challenging thing. And I would say that I'm still in the liminality phase of that because there's a lot of challenges. And, you know, I thought I had life down. I was doing really great with one. We had a routine, life was going good. And then poof, you know, I disrupted the homeostasis of my family, right? And this beautiful thing happened. And now, you know, I'm in this space of relearning how we can better work as this new family of 4. So it's interesting to think about what those ceremonies might be. So that's what goes in your primary posts. I do want to see, as always, I want to see citations to, you're going to want to do citations to the supplemental information that you reviewed. So those videos and the transcript and webinar, the transcript, if you need help with how to cite those, let me know. I also want to see the textbook in there too. So I want you to take these concepts and include them. The tip 59 might be really helpful. It talks about the culture of recovery. So that might be really helpful, especially as you answer this last question. Response posts. So everybody's writing a response post. You are going to reflect upon your own rites of passage and respond to a minimum of 2 students from group A. So number 1, identify similarities and differences in your experiences. I want you to touch on both. Discuss what your challenges and successes are or have been, depending on whether what you're thinking about is current or something that you've, you know, a rite of passage that happened in the past. Think about how these rites of passage influence you today. Our experiences impact our lives. If we go back to that Hayes article about prejudiced thoughts, we learn that our experiences impact our thoughts and the way we frame things and the way we view things. So absolutely, our rites of passage impact who we are and influence who we are today. So discuss that. And then lastly, by considering your experience with your own rites of passage and what you learned from this webinar, what can you incorporate into your future professional practice to demonstrate understandings of addictions and diversity? So again, you're kind of answering that question again. Because you're writing more than one response post, I would tailor that to what you're discussing in the post. So as you're discussing those similarities and differences, those challenges and successes, you might tailor those to, you might tailor those a little bit to more align with what the primary post talked about. So I guess as you frame your responses, to keep those separate, you know, because you're writing 2 of them, to keep them different, you might differentiate that by saying, okay, because this person talked about this topic, I'm going to include some similarities there. And then this person talked about a different topic and I'm going to include some similarities there. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, you know how to ask questions, right? Head on over to that homepage. So due dates are the same, Wednesdays and Fridays. Check out the confidentiality and the grading criteria. It's still the same as it has been in previous weeks. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this and appreciate everybody's willingness to jump in. And Engage in the self-reflective exercise while also applying the content that you're learning in this class. Thank you.